I'm Rick.
And I'm Dave.
And we're live.
No, the test wasn't awesome.
We're back.
We are back.
We're
Not front anymore. We're back.
We're back. Yeah.
Rick straightened me out.
That's right.
It's not, you can't say front. We're back. Mm-hmm. We were over there, but now we're back.
No. So I've got...
no. So?
I've got another good topic. You know, one day you could actually think of a great topic. I would love to hear more about... I can't hear enough about how you...
I don't think you can handle my topics.
I can handle your topics. Maybe not, but still, bring them anyways. It's a train wreck waiting to happen.
Just getting a bit more tea here.
So topic. Here's a thing just to chat about. Okay, I have heard the phrase that success is a poor teacher and failure is a good teacher. So maybe the question we can hash out today is success a poor teacher, and does it always have to be a poor teacher? Yeah, riveting. Yeah, you look so excited about that one.
No, I think it's a great topic.
All right.
The one thing I wanted to just to mention to our many viewers is this is Rick and Dave live. We don't edit it. We don't even like figure out what we're going to say.
No.
This is
all off the cuff.
Right from here.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Because you're old and you need to work out.
Well, I'm curious. So what like set this up for us? Success is a poor teacher.
Poor teacher. So in my opinion, I think what the phrase is saying is that when we are successful, we get addicted to the win, and we stop trying, we stop experimenting. We don't learn anything, right? So not only we might have just been lucky with the success that we've achieved. Whereas when you fail, you actually learn, okay, I did this wrong. Like the guy that invented the light bulbs, right? That's like Thomas Edison? Is that who that is? Okay. So what is it, like 99 fails and like his last fail?
10,000 or 1,000.
Something like that.
A lot of times. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like high school history or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because he always said, I didn't fail that many times. I just learned how to not do a light bulb that many times.
Yeah, that's right. So failure for him was a good teacher, and success becomes like failure stacked on failure stacked on failure as we work up towards what success is. Success is so it's not this dichotomy that there's failure this way and success this way. It's both together, right? It's and both, right?
Yeah, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that blanket statement.
Success being a poor teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know, like if you let success go to your head, then it could be a poor teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So there are moments when success can be a poor teacher, yet there are moments when success can be a good teacher.
Well, for example, like if you learn how to talk to your spouse properly, that's a success.
Okay.
And you learn from that. So if I continue to talk this way.
Oh, good, yeah.
Oh, continue to have success.
Positive reinforcement on positive reinforcement. Your wife
with
gets a little
the
cookie
kids,
and
like
say,
we've
"Good job."
talked about with the kids. I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, but see, if you have success in communicating with your kids, you can build on that success.
Yeah, but that's good. Building on success. Yeah. Can we think of a story when success has been a bad teacher for us? So that's a good story. That's a good story where we learn what's effective with our kids and we build on it, or with our wife and we build on that. Can success be a poor teacher as well? Okay, so I got a story. I don't know if it's a good story, but I've got an example. Can I use an example instead of a story?
Yes.
Okay, so like pastoring. Okay, so I've been a pastor for a long time, too long. I don't want to really say since I was 21. Okay, so here's where success.
That's a long time.
It is, yeah, like 20-something years. You did the math. So here we go. Is it only been 20? No, it's been more than that. Since I was 21. Yeah, it's like 26 years, something like that. Anyways, so here's where success can be a poor teacher from my own personal experience. So I walk into a church as a new lead pastor or something, and there's already almost a captivated audience there. And so whether I preach bad or preach good, the audience kind of sticks around, not because of my preaching, but because the community is there. They're there for community. They're not there for my preaching. They're there for the community, right? And so it can go to my head thinking that, okay, they're still here because of my preaching. And I feel that I'm a successful preacher when in fact they're just being nice to me, right? So success, my perceived success can actually be a moment of denial where people are just being nice to me and not actually telling me something real. What do you think? You've had to sit under my preaching, so that could...
Well, I always found you very interesting to listen to, so I'm a bad example for that. Well, thinking about the kids again.
All right.
Like there's a great example. Like you can learn and grow from your successes. Mm-hmm. But what you can also do, as you're finding out, as they turn into teenagers, what worked before doesn't work now.
No.
So you can kind of ride the wave of success with your kids. Oh, I figured out this cool kid thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And then...
Yeah, and the one thing I've noticed, I figured out as a parent, especially... You've been a preacher for 26 years. I've been a father for 29 years.
Wow.
And I'm younger than him. Anyways.
You only look younger than me.
So what I figured out is that what I've learned, is that every time that I thought I figured out how to deal with the kids, they change. They grow a little bit more and something else happens.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I just figured this out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so kind of the success being a poor teacher. We feel like we're successful parents with our children. And then when they become teenagers, we're so used to the win, we're so used to being successful parents that it's a struggle. Then, at least for me, it was a struggle for me to figure out, how do I now become a parent of teenagers? I'm so successful as a parent, as a dad of children, that it's almost like I get locked into that success, which prevents me from becoming a learner all over again. And once my teenagers became teenagers, I had to step into being a learner again. And how do I do the parent stuff again? So so in that case, in that one instance, you're right. Mm-hmm. My success was a poor teacher for me, I guess, because I wasn't ready to become a learner again, maybe.
Well, maybe I'm hung up on that whole poor teacher title that we have here. Yeah. Like I think... Well, success you can ride your laurels as an expression comes to mind. It means you've gained a certain amount of success, so you ride that out without having to learn more.
Is that a motorcycle?
No.
A laurel?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look that one up.
I got a Harley. What's a laurel?
It's an expression. You ride your laurels. Right. Anyways.
Okay. We'll have to look it up. We'll put it in the background. Yeah, this is a laurel. Yeah. Okay.
That's all it has to do with, you just achieve a certain amount of success. So you just ride that out saying, I don't need to learn more. I don't need to adapt more. Mm-hmm. But, do you understand?
It's like resting on your haunches. I may have heard that expression. Is it the same thing? So you're just you go into coasting.
Kind of, yes.
Oh, and you're no longer working.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're saying that success can put you into that coasting mode, that passive mode, no longer active? Yeah. Yes, you and I are kind of saying something similar. Mm-hmm. But does success always have to be a poor teacher?
I would say it should.
I wouldn't think.
Well, definitely depends on the person.
Yeah, for
sure. And I guess it depends on how much success you achieve throughout your life. Like if you have minor success, or if you have limited successes, then you can just build on those. But I think a lot of times, like managers or even coaches, it happens a lot. I think in sports, when a coach has a winning record, and they go, okay, well, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to learn anymore. But I don't need to adapt to the game. I don't need to learn. I know it all, kind of thing. Right? Yeah. You get that attitude.
Yeah.
Some bosses get that.
Yeah.
Even teachers, to some degree, can get that.
Successful coaches, though, are coaches who know how to get people unstuck. I mean, that's what coaching is, right? It just gets people unstuck. So when a coach gets stuck, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I learned something. I think you just taught me something.
Really?
Just now, just ding, serious. So success can be a poor teacher when it puts us into a passive mode, or it puts us into coast. If we if we sort of put ourselves on a pedestal and assume that success is more permanent than it actually is, and it defines us as successful, and then we stop there, and if we go into coast mode, I think then that's when it becomes a poor teacher. It's when we perceive success as something that it isn't, that it defines us. It means that we have arrived and there's no more work to be done. Yeah. Then at that moment, then success can be a poor teacher. Yeah, but like you were explaining though earlier, you can build success upon success upon success. So I guess it really depends on our attitude, our perception of how we're defining success and how we're personalizing success, I think.
Well, we have to be. I feel we're on the precipice of this hitting like major success with this video.
Yeah, me too. Woo!
So
yeah.
But you guys can make sure that we don't rest on our laurels.
Yeah. Oh, I have heard that before. Now that you just said that, bing. Yeah. Okay. Now I remember that.
I'm not really sure what the laurel is.
No, me neither.
But it's an expression I've used.
Because you said riding on your laurels,
maybe I said riding,
which is why I was thinking about a motorcycle. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, seriously. We have not achieved any success. If anything, this failure of the, not quite failure, but, we tried to improve 1% better every conversation.
1%, but making life 1% better with each conversation. I think we're still doing that. Keep the bar low. That's where it should be. Okay, so let's go through our list of questions. What went good? What went bad? What did we learn? So that the application is, or the takeaway is, because of what we learned. Oh, and then what will we do differently?
Yeah.
And the do differently makes life 1% better. So what we were talking about, I was talking about, we can just leave the past for anything because I don't think I learned anything from that. But with your kids' idea, that's great. So what went bad?
We gotta start with what went good.
What went good?
We always start with what went good.
You're right. I'm sorry. Boy. I'm 47 and I can't keep it all in my head anymore. Yeah.
Anyways. So what went good? Well, I guess, if I can go back to, the renovation project, the addition project on my house, I'm in the week 4, I think it feels like, with the signing. But I guess the success, building on the success, because, it's a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah.
Once you get a bit of success, you keep moving forward.
Yeah.
What was interesting, you have to trim out all the windows and stuff. So I did a bunch really well, and then the last one I had some bigger gaps.
Oh, did you?
So that that's almost a bad.
You should have just called me. I could help you.
Yeah.
I know what it means to fill gaps when things don't work out, man.
It's because you got so much gaps between your ears.
Oh my goodness. No. I mean my renos.
I could see light through there.
Dude, I thought you were coming in for a kiss. I was about to smack you. I was literally about to give you a shot in the head. Like, what are you doing? Okay.
We're not there yet, folks. Not there yet.
No, not yet. Okay, but about your kids, though, you're talking about how we learn as parents, though, right? And build success on success. I really love that. About how that's something you learned, right? I mean, you learned something from your house, but we were originally talking about parenting, right?
No, I know, but we're talking about in the past week, are we not?
Whatever you want to talk about. We have no agenda except for those questions.
Well, no, I was just talking about like recently.
Okay.
Like building on success was just being able to figure out how to properly do the signing so that it got a little bit easier. But then I kind of maybe rested on my laurels a little bit, thinking I know what I'm doing, and then I wasn't that happy with the last window that I did.
Yeah.
So that could be, what's good and what is bad.
That's good. I like that. So with my pastoring example, you kind of came into one of my churches sort of in the last few years after I'd learned my lesson. So when I initially started preaching, it did kind of get to my head a little bit because people were sticking around, and I had not yet learned the lesson about why people stick to churches, and it's for community, not for my preaching. So when I first started preaching, it's kind of like I remember in oh my goodness, as a brand spanking new preacher, thinking I was doing great because I was in front of everybody, and so people had to teach me. People had to teach me that my preaching wasn't as good as I thought it was, and so after years of failing, so that's when That's what I learned. So what I learned, I learned that after years of failing, I learned through that failing so I could become a better communicator. I mean, and then you benefited from all the people I angered. So yeah, so he thanks you, all those people that I angered over the years. Yay, he's the byproduct of you being mad at me. Yay, that's awesome. And you saying, you suck as a preacher. I know, I'm learning, I'm maturing, I'm in process. So you learned. Oh, what went good is you were able to continue building your house?
With the siding, yeah, just built on success. It's probably this whole project. I mean, I did have some decent skills to begin with, as I mentioned in the first episode of Rick&Dave Live.
Yeah.
But I kept building on those successes.
Yeah.
And which in turn built the confidence.
That is going great. Yeah, your confidence is huge. Yeah.
Well, but I do want to talk about like that story about the preaching and then maybe getting a little bit too big of a head on your shoulders is kind of how I saw where success can be a bad teacher.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When we perceive that the success. So I thought like my successful preaching has defined me. Like I am defined as someone who is good at preaching. That's successful. And then so what happened is when my boss, the lead pastor at the time, said, Rick, you're preaching a little too fast. You're not really making your point. I took that personally because I handled success poorly. So success for me was a bad teacher because I allowed it to define me. And I went into a state of denial. And denial is when we perceive reality differently, right? We've got a skewed sense of reality. So I had to be knocked down a little bit and clued into what was real, right? So those were all good lessons for me as I kind of grew up, yeah. So you went good, yeah. And my failures went good. They both
but you learned.
Right? I learned.
You got over that. You got over yourself finally.
And I started listening to what people were saying. Like, this communicates well, this doesn't. And so that was building on successes for me too, yeah.
Well, but again, you're hitting the nail on the head there, which is like when success goes to your head, like you think you're above reproach. That criticism isn't for you because you already know what you're doing. So that's definitely where the bad teacher part comes in.
Yeah.
So then if you can learn, no, you know what, doesn't matter how much success I have, there's still stuff to learn.
Yeah.
And that comes to the parenting thing.
Yeah, as long as we don't go into COSIA. So in the parenting thing, what went bad? So I could answer that right away, is that what went bad with the success is I thought that I had some measure of success as an engaged dad who had great relationships with all my kids. But once they came into their teenage selves and started growing that, then I realized, okay, the relationship has changed. They need something different from me. What do they need from me? And so I didn't get that right away. And so I was trying to keep them in the childhood box. And I very quickly learned that I can't do that. I can't rest on my past success. It's time to go into learner's mode again. I felt a little bit like, you remember that movie where Iron Man, I think it's Iron Man 2, where he goes back into development mode as he's making his new kind of charger with that new material, and he breaks down his office and okay. I'm trying to geek out here and you're just not.
You're doing a good job.
I'm doing a good job of showing that I'm just inadequate to the task of being a geek. Is that what you're saying? I'm inadequate.
No, it just means I'm not as geeky as you. That's the whole point here, right?
Okay, so
what went bad this week?
What went bad?
Or maybe not this
week. I just said what
went
bad about my kids, about how I had to my
failure to communicate.
Yeah, my past successes.
That's my
failure to communicate.
Like you always get, especially when it's close, whether it's your spouse or with your kids or your parents, you get so comfortable with the communicating that sometimes you forget that they can't read your mind.
Yeah.
So that again, go back. I use that example again when I had expectations on the getting help around the house on the renovations. I was failing to communicate. I thought there's a success in a bad way. I thought that I was successful enough that I was explaining to them what was going on.
Yeah.
And when they didn't do it, it didn't meet my expectation. But the whole point there is I didn't learn that I need to tell them fully explain to them so they understand in their words. Because they don't live in here. No. I'm the only one that lives in here. Scary place.
I can actually understand at least part of what you're saying. What? It's not.
You've been in my head?
No. No, about communication going on up here. So it's not that I miscommunicate. It's that I think I have.
You lack communicate.
A conversation has gone up here. Like I have imagined myself talking to my wife or talking to my kids, and in my mind it has already happened. And then I thought I did a great job at communicating, and they received it really well. And then, but just like you, I haven't really communicated, even though I thought I had. That's starting to happen to me more and more now, where I'll be in the kitchen with my wife, and then I'll just turn to her after 10 minutes or so. And we're talking about something, right? It's not like we're talking, but there's another conversation going on up here. And I think I just said it out loud, but I was just thinking about it, and some time has gone by, right? So I thought that conversation had happened. And so I said, so what do you think about that other thing we were talking about earlier, whatever that was? And she looked at me and said, what? When you said, and she's like, what? I never said that. It's like, oh, was I just thinking that? Let me restart. That happens too much these days now. Yeah, that's a real thing now.
So that would be the bad.
All right. What do we learn?
Well, the big thing that we need to learn is that we always have to be open to growing.
Yeah.
And don't let success go to our heads.
Yeah, that's good. I think you nailed it. I don't think we need to add anything to that.
Well,
it's good.
One thing I would like to add.
Yeah.
So since you had quite a bit of success as a pastor in the past, way more than me. And the reason we know that is because...
I don't think we need to say that too loudly. Yeah.
No. The reason we know
scale that back
is because his head got bigger and he lost hair. So my head hasn't got that big, so it hasn't lost that much hair yet. We don't normally cut, but this one may be cut out because Rick doesn't seem happy at the moment.
No, I'm just letting you own this space. You can now own
that one?
Space. Yeah, just you
well,
go ahead and
my head's got
carry the conversation. Okay, so what did we learn again? We learned
we have to be open.
Be open
to continue to grow and learn.
That's it. Open to continue to grow and learn. Love it. And when we are open to continue to grow and learn, then success is a great teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't let success define you, I think, is what I also took away from that.
For sure.
So what are we going to do differently this week then? As we find moments of success, so that success becomes a good teacher instead of a bad teacher, what will we do differently this week to make our lives 1% better?
Well, I think I'm going to talk to the kids a bit more.
Oh.
I'm going to communicate, ask them what they're looking for from me as a father.
Wow, you're really going to do that?
Sure.
It's good. Good job.
I got great kids.
You do, actually. I like them. They're good kids.
Well, your kids are pretty good, too.
Yeah, they are. I like them, too.
You'll keep them around for a little longer?
I will, yeah. That's good. Talk to your kid. That's good. Maybe that's a good conversation for me, too. So I'll do it with my son and daughter. They're both teens. Mm-hmm. Ask them, okay, what do you need from me right now as a dad? If you could pretend that I was your student and you're the teacher, what do you need from me? And I would, so I think I know what my daughter would say. She would say this. I can't even right now. That would be from my daughter, I think. And my son might be like, dude, go away. I'm doing homework. I think that's how they would reply. Yeah. So I'm not really sure I think that I would be experiencing failure this week, but at least I'm primed knowing that success is coming and both are good teachers. Yeah. That's my assumption.
I don't do impressions.
Did we just make life 1% better?
Hopefully we did.
Yeah. Does God honor this? Crossing fingers. So we just made one. Okay, good. So that's it. Okay. Any final words to say goodbye?
Well, again, if you find this amusing or if you learn anything from this, or if you know someone that might get something from this, please pass it, share it along.
Yeah.
leave a comment down below if
Yep.
you have a question or
Yep.
something you want us to address,
Yep.
or even a criticism. Help us get better.
That's it. Yeah.
Success has not gone to our heads yet.
Yeah. If you can figure out a way to make these videos more cringy, please let us know. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's great. Until
That's
then,
it. Okay. See you next time. Bye.
Ciao.